Hey folks, this is Matt aka Slash, and welcome to the series finale of the VintageBeef Fan Server. Yes, I said series, I'll get to that in a bit. Things are loading oddly at the moment, but that's okay. Looks like all the beacons have been turned back on, that's very cool. But yes, this is the series finale. And that is because we are about to reset the map, and when we do, we have decided as a community to change up our identity a little bit. Rather than sort of feeling like an exclusive beef fan club, so to speak, we want to be able to grow the community and do things with the community that isn't bound by that so much. So we are going to be renaming ourselves, and I'll wait until we actually reset the map, I guess, to talk about the new name. But as a result, I am giving you a final tour. I would love for these things to actually load. There we go. Giving you a final tour of the builds and whatnot around here that I was involved in, that I liked, and just talk a little bit about the time here on the server, etc. So let's start here, and then we'll head out to the games area. I never built this on camera. I did this all off camera as just sort of a random side project. But this is my house here in the spawn village. Let's see, when I built it, that was there, but the library was not. Which is cool, because it was really neat that the library went in next door, although whoever built it left a bunch of junk on my lawn. But that's okay. Little basement entrance here. Just some random hay bales and stuff stacked up. Going for a very simple, sort of Spartan kind of look. Little wraparound couch here. It's really cool. Pardon me. Got my bed. I put some emergency supplies in here that if for some reason my spawn was set here and I respawned because I died and like all my stuff sitting somewhere, I could quick grab some basic armor out of the chest here, and in fact I'm gonna go ahead and take the steak and get started finding my stuff, my real stuff, from there. Little furnace with some charcoal in it. I'm gonna grab some ender pearls as well. You may notice I don't have any of my equipment on me. There's a reason for that. We'll get to that whenever we get back to my main base, but that's pretty much the whole of the house here. Maybe we'll take another look at it around the outside whenever we head back. And then this way, the road came out this far, I think, originally. Or came out to maybe... Oh, it must have come out to about here, I think, originally. And then I expanded the road out, wrapped it around the little fountain here, and then sent it on a path all the way out to Beefy Dunes. Which is our little amusement park mini-game area. And this statue is by me. This is a lot of fun to make. You can just barely see underneath Beef's eye there, right above my cursor. There's still an arrow stuck there from an infinity bow that has not despawned for months, and probably never will. But that's there, and then the Beefy Dune sign. We're actually here for perfect timing. That should light up whenever it gets dark enough. Now let's see if we can't get a better angle on it. Something like that there. Yep, there it goes. Beefy Dunes. Bing! So that was a lot of fun to make as well. The statue was a lot of fun. Stretched my abilities with MC Edit and with pixel art in general. But then you enter through here, and then straight ahead is the bouncy King of the Ladder that I came up with. I only really got to play it once and not for very long, really, but I know it's gotten some enjoyment by people here on the server, so I'm glad that I took the time to put that in. It was a fun project. I wanted to see how that would turn out. I'm not sure. I would do some things differently, I think, if I were to do it over again, but I couldn't exactly pinpoint what. I'd have to actually start the project. This was one of the first games, I think, that was ever built on the server. It was originally built over in Spawntown and moved over here. King of the Iron Bars. And it looks like the design was changed a little bit. Got some extra blocks here. But the idea is to just stand on here for as long as you possibly can, while people approach from all angles and try to punch you off. So that's pretty cool. I think Caleb built that. And then off in this direction, well, the lockers here I should point out as well. This was something that I built for storing away your stuff in a central location. So you can just claim a chest and throw your stuff in there, replace the sign with a name, and be off and running that way. Rather than having to necessarily have, spawning stations and storage stations at every game. But it sort of turned out to do that anyway. This is Nihon Tiger's, I can't remember what it's called, Gauntlet Project or something? Barrage? Something. I can't remember exactly what it is. But it was based off I think a Nickelodeon TV show, like game show of some description. But unfortunately he didn't quite get around to finishing that. I know he was trying to, but I also know that things got pretty busy for him. And then this, Fu Mandunian was working on this, created this. I'm not sure who else helped him out, or I would credit them as well, but Fu was the original mastermind here. It's interesting. Were those sand pillars always there, or was that added? Well, anyway, the idea being mirror images of the same course, and when you play, you're on two different teams, and the idea is to get to your little platform like this, stand on a pressure plate, which activates a clock, which puts a whole bunch of stuff into, I think, a dropper or a hopper or something, and it regenerates all the way across to the end, and whenever it makes it all the way to the end, it activates a fireworks display that's on that platform there, and your team wins. Simple as that. And then a little team selector thing here, which is very cool. I think the rules are in the box here. Yep. So, very nice. And surrounded by cactus. Partially... Oh, hi. Hi, little man. I can't properly fight you. Let's just go this way. Oh, there's cactus. There you go. Come on into the cactus area. Hey, come fight me. Whatever. We'll just run. Anyway, that's the extent of the games here. There's a thing up here, I think it's like jump through the hoop or whatever, or jump through the U, and it's just a U-shaped structure made out of coal blocks, and you just jump through it. Simple enough. I think Olmok and Zombie made this one. It says right here, Zombie and Olmok's Record Factory is what it is. Although the sign's got a little messed up. But this was a system that could lure creepers in here. They've got a skelly trapped in the middle, and they would set things up so that the skeleton would shoot the creeper in an attempt to shoot you, and then it would cause a record to drop. So I thought that was pretty spiffy. I think Valrotho is responsible for recreating the elusive chicken hotel or inn and bar, I guess, whatever, over there. That was one of Beef's builds on Minecraft. So that's pretty cool. Let's see, this away, and then around this away. Bunch of houses here. Bunch of terrain not loading. Looks like there's a mine shaft there. What is going on? There we go. I'm running around too fast for the renderer to keep up. This server is still on snapshot 14W32D, which I think has a little bit more issues with this sort of selective rendering thing than the 1.8 release does. We'll be on the 1.8 release, obviously, when the map resets. This is the spawn building. I sort of glossed over it whenever I first spawned over here. But we've got beacons in the corners. This is an Allmock design. Very, very cool. One of the first things that was built on the server, and it was designed, it was intended whenever he was building it, to line up the portal and the entryway and everything with this bridge here, which goes across the wheat, carrot, potato field that Caleb built to sort of make sure there'd be an uninterrupted view from spawn over to VintageBeef's castle from Season 3 of Minecraft. So this is a very cool thing that we've got hanging out over here, and has been the site for many a game of hide and seek and random PvP action. Very nice. Financed by the VintageBeef Fan Server Cultural Heritage Fund. Original castle by VintageBeef, redone by Caleb West, Allmock, and Varatho, the current council for the server. So yeah, it's about the size of it over here. And we'll head back over this way and take a look at what else is there to look at over here. Of course it's raining, so maybe I'll set my spawn quick before we continue on. There we go, much better. Here's another view of the spawn house. Not too much to look at there. I'm fairly happy that I managed to emulate the style of the other houses there. It's not a build style I've gone with before, so it was a little bit of a stretch for me to be able to pull that off. Let's see, what else? Am I responsible for anything else out this way? I don't think so, although I've been showing off some other builds. So I'll take a look here quick at the post office. This was a Drusen of the 43 build. Very cool. Little boxes here at spawn for dropping things off. Oh, I've got random dirt in there that I probably put in there. Excuse me. Sorry, it's early in the morning when I'm recording this because our map reset is imminent, and I wanted to make sure that I got this video recorded. The reason that I haven't been doing too much on the VBFS lately is twofold. One, I knew this reset was coming, and once I got the biomes project finished, I didn't really want to try to do anything else on the server in the time that we had left. And two, I noticed that this episode... Whoa! What? Oh, right, the portals are broken. Forgot about that. The other reason is that I noticed that this episode was going to be episode 64, and as a computer science nerd and just general number nerd guy, I wanted to go out on episode 64 because it's a power of 2. So that was the reason for the gap. Next series will start over at episode 1. Town Bergville. This is the first project undertaken by me on this server. It was Drew and I working together. I think he had found this little village just in random exploration, and we decided, you know what, let's fence it in, protect the villagers, and make this our sort of starter base of sorts. So we ended up taking this house up here on top of the hill, and we turned this into the mayor's house and made this a little base of operations. Let's see, is there anything here? Some netherrack. And then down this way was the initial mine shaft dig, and we had some storage chests here, which should pretty much all be empty. Oh, now there's a bunch of random extra blocks here. So, and then that goes down eventually to a cave, and then there's a path in jungle planks that leads down to bedrock layer to a strip mine, or to a branch mine, I should say. And then I think these are all the old villagers. I don't know if any of them plant or not. Yeah, it's just plain villager. None of the new 1.8 guys should be here. And that's about the extent of that. Although I did have some fun putting together the gate for the town, which, surprisingly enough, these guys have survived, even though baby zombies can easily fit through here. But I set up a little 3-way, 3x3 door there. That leads out this way. And I think this was all part of the original path. And then I don't know where this pen came from, because I don't think we built this, but maybe, I don't know. I don't know when this happened. And I don't know who built this off here in the distance either. It looks like something has been added to it since I was out here last. Interesting, but never really got to know who our neighbors were. So if you know who is responsible for those builds and you want to claim credit or whatever, or make sure credit goes where credit is due, please let me know. So we go down Rufus's nether tunnel here. There's a little hatch. He's only got one block left to his portal. And a bunch of missing glass, I guess from gas fireballs. Missing their target. But if you come over this way through this tunnel and then through here, you will find a big open area that Drew and I sort of flattened out. And if I had this to do over, I'd do it a completely different way as well. But we sort of flattened this out to encourage spawns for hunting wither skeleton skulls. And it worked decently well. I had got enough wither skulls from here to get 4 beacons. So I only got one of those, I think, on camera. And I was planning on getting together with some folks to have a have some wither fights or whatever, but then I ended up just fighting them myself, just because I wanted to complete the 2x2 beacon. And they turned out not to be too difficult, so it wasn't really worth having footage of. Maybe next time I fight a wither, I'll try to fight in some less even terrain out in the like a wasteland somewhere. Although I might not have the option to do that, really. So here's our tunnel for Drew and I. Tunnel design was by me. Drew contributed some creative input to it, I think mostly related to the floor path design here, but yeah, it was it's one of the longer nether tunnels, one of the longer paths in the nether, because our base is out towards the end of, in the corner, more or less, of our originally allowed terrain. That I think 2500 by 2500 or something was the original path that we were, or terrain we were allowed to explore. So this is out towards the end of that. This little staircase here is because Snow was using my roof of the nether entrance that I opened up, that I punched through the bedrock, and you have to come through this way and climb up. He was fighting a wither up here for his own purposes, and he ended up, the wither killed him, and he couldn't get back up the ladder, I guess, so he had to place some blocks, and never came around to clean it up. That's fine. Don't worry about it. No hard feelings. But yeah, this used to be like half slabs up here, denoting that this was the way down, and there was an ender chest, but apparently the wither destroyed all of that in his comedy of errors trying to recover his stuff and finally defeat the wither. I think Caleb got involved at one point, And yeah, it was ridiculous. Then we got a little door to the outside of the nether here in case I needed to go quartz mining or whatever. The idea here originally is that, you know, these blocks wouldn't be here. There would be, in here there would normally be stored a piece of the ceiling here, but I guess snow has those. But anyway, you would just knock this one out and then you'd ender pearl to the ladder and climb up. Not the most elegant solution, mind you, but it's what we had. Or what I put in place. And here we are at the bridge between Drew's area and my area. So we have Drew Silver 43, prankable, won't prank back. Not a whole lot of people took advantage of that. I mean, that seems like a really nice deal, but, you know, oh well. I've got a community ice farm that I built over here. I don't think a whole lot of people made use of. I think Vol came over to get some ice once, but otherwise I'm not aware of any other usage of it. But then we pop out this way onto the beach and then the plains, and we've got my base, which is still rendering in as nighttime falls. So let's take a look at some of the builds around here. Woo, that jump boost. Tree farm. Drew and I worked together on the overall layout of this, and then I built the majority of it. You need 2 blocks of spacing between birch trees and spruce trees for them to grow, but not oak trees you can space closer together. So I ended up doing this kind of design for it, which I really, really like. And I wish there was a way that you could harvest some of the other trees in a more standard pattern like this. But, I mean, the acacia trees grow really weird. These guys require a decent amount of space. And, of course, the jungle trees require massive amount of space as well. So these are really the only 3 wood types I think you can build an organized farm like this out of. Obviously, there's a dirt block in each of these places, so you would go through, chop it all down, collect all the saplings, and when the building was empty, you could just run up and down, holding right-click on your sapling, and it would automatically place exactly where it needed to place. I'm rather happy with that design. I'm gonna miss it. I like the... If I had this to do over, I would do it with some sort of colored glass, but we didn't have it at the time, so it's just regular glass panes. We got the old cow farm over here. Originally, I just had the cows in an open pasture, kind of like the pigs here, and I think chickens were in an open pasture as well. Or sheep were. That's right. It was pigs were here, sheep I think were here in a square just the same size, and then a square off in this direction was the cows. And I ended up moving the sheep over there because I've got the automated sheep shearing thing. And then I built this thing once I saw it in one of Snowshoe's videos for the automatic dispatching of cows, cooking of the food and whatnot. I like this design better. I'm going to do something very similar to this in the next map, I think. The focus next map is going to be on little machines that do things well and sort of, well, we'll see exactly how we end up integrating that into a whole base idea. But I want to build a whole bunch of that sort of stuff for my base next map. Here's the automatic sheep shearing station. So the sheep are all outside in a pen. You flick the lever and it starts the timer. Water pushes them down the pen, and then they come around. They come around this way, following this sort of pipe that's here. After falling down into the trench, right, they get pushed around this way. They get sheared by you just standing there, and then they pop out here. They drop back down in and cycle through again. Periodically, the water is turned off and the trench closed so that they can eat and replenish their wool. And it keeps going back and forth. So you AFK here like overnight, and these chests here fill up with various wool colors, and then you can sort them off into this storage area over here. I have an improved design that I'm planning on building for the community on the next map, but we'll have to wait and see how well that works out, because it's a decent size footprint that it requires, and space may be a bit limited. This is where the beacons come out. This is as centrally located on the base plot as I could find. I got, like I said, 2 more beacons. So speed 2 I've had for a while, but I've got haste, jump boost, and resistance now. Over here I've got a pen for my mules and donkey. I think I had a horse over here as well at one point, but must have lost it. But these guys I bred for the express purpose of hauling ice over to Nihon Tiger's base, because I needed a ton of ice over there to encapsulate his entire treehouse base in ice cubes. Got my banner there. Featured that recently. So this is the actual house here. Doorbell ring does the Zelda theme, or one of the Zelda, like you've got an item, you found something. Songs, and keeps the door open until you walk across the pressure plates, and then they close. It's an old trick that I had done back in probably my very first single-player world. Come in here, we got the games parlor, pool table, records here. I named all of them in an anvil so that I could tell what they were at a glance, because I don't remember what the colors are. Yeah. Box for extra records there. Excuse me. So I was happy to complete my record collection. Just this is for like storing stuff for visitors is the idea there. But just random junk in there right now. Dining room with a bunch of cake just sitting up here on the table. That cake's been sitting there for months, so maybe not the best idea to eat it. The kitchen originally had a whole bunch of iron pressure plates on the floor, but then they changed it that whenever you stepped on an iron pressure plate, it actually triggered. Didn't used to. I can demonstrate here. That's an iron pressure plate. Floor used to be done in those, and it looked really cool as like a tile pattern, but I ended up changing it out to furnaces. The fridge works and gives you cookies. I've got some fuel in the furnace in case you wanted to cook something. Sink. I put a bunch of clocks all over the house because it was nice to be able to tell what time it was outside without having to look out a window. Especially helpful down in the basement. Got my patio out back here. Floating moon hanging out right there. But some chairs. There we go. Oh, I bet you these changed direction because of the change to how they look in your inventory. So now they're pointing in weird directions. But anyway, I got some chairs, got a little barbecue out here, and access to the backyard. That was a relatively recent addition, but I wanted an extra exit to the building. Got my little library here with chests for all of the various enchanted books that I have enchanted. You can access from both sides. An anvil here in case you wanted to combine that book with something, or combine books together. We'll head up the tower first. So here's the grand ballroom. I was hoping to have a bunch of people over to do something in here, but never ended up quite materializing. Not exactly sure what we would have done in here anyway. Got a button here, activates a piston door that lets you into a semi-hidden bedroom. I've got my armor from the season. My full chainmail set is here on a new armor stand, hanging out in the corner. Random miscellaneous stuff that I still had in my inventory. The sort of stuff that I typically keep on me. Wood, coal, crafting table, Food and ender pearls get stored there. And then my main tools I've put up here on the wall. There's the master sword, force bow, and a bunch of my regular tools, and a water bucket. I always keep a water bucket on me. A couple of wardrobes here. This one equips you with diamond armor with a bunch of awesome enchants on it for the purposes of fighting the wither. And then this one just equips you with random armor dropped by mobs. This was sort of the, I've died in a cave or something, I respawn here, run in, automatically get re-equipped, and off you go kind of situation. So that is that. Might as well leave that open at this point. Let's head on the rest of the way up the tower. I just wanted a tower, and I didn't really have a good reason for having a tower. So other than the looks, this doesn't really accomplish anything. But I put a whole bunch of books up here. I thought it would look cool. It was the concept was it was going to be kind of a wizard tower sort of thing. We've got cake all over the floor thanks to Baker and RJ. But I was going to have my potion brewing and stuff up here, but then I realized it was a real pain to walk up the steps all the time to get up here, so it ended up getting essentially no use whatsoever. And now if we fall down this way, we end up at the bottom, and I have the incredibly not secret entrance to the basement area. This is where I ended up doing my brewing. I'd make my awkward potions in here, store them in here, and then whenever I wanted to make potions, I would just load the ingredients, boom, 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 in the hopper, and they would be off and running. I'm actually going to build Etho's little automatic brewing station on the next map. The one with the levers and, you put your main ingredient in one place and you flip the levers for the modifiers that you want, and then you turn it on, it just keeps churning those out for as long as possible. So this is the storage room. I've got my clock here. I've got everything labeled. I've got a place for iron ore, a place for gold ore, and a place for cobble and or sand in there. And then it's all set up that you can load fuel in the hopper, flick the lever, and it automatically cooks and puts the result down here. So then this is where I've been storing the the iron and gold that I have been smelting. And I don't think there's anything in there, no. But I rather like this storage room. This is one of my favorite rooms in the place. Oh, and it has a couple of furnaces here in the floor for sort of one-off cooking. Ender chest access there. And then you flick the lever, and you get the full enchanting setup for the full 30 levels through here. And then just some anvils sticking on top of that for repairing. And then if we go down a little bit further, I had dug out an area for mushroom farming. The room's big enough that I can grow a big mushroom, and the mushrooms just naturally spread over time in here. I don't keep it dark because I don't want mob spawning. But then I've collected a whole bunch of mushroom stuff down in here. And then the red mushrooms as well. They appear to have all changed with the update. They were originally the sort of spongy looking stuff. But that was for pranking purposes. The real reason I had these here, not for like mushroom stew or anything. And I ended up using a chunk of it on Snowshoe at the rental property. Down here, I've got access to a little squid farm, which appears to be working just fine. Whole field of hoppers down here. The squids spawn. You can't see it, but there's a bunch of water here and columns to push the squid down. Past some signs, they fall out the bottom, suffocate in the air. Hoppers collect their ink, and the ink comes over here. This was built so that I could make the gray glass that I needed for the biomes project. I got an automatic cobble farm in here. Doesn't quite work though, but you're supposed to close that up, grab yourself a stone pick, and as you break this, it detects that you've broken it, kicks another pick out. If you don't need it, it drops into a hopper underneath the carpet here and feeds back into the system. And you can reload additional stone picks up there. Little vine farm with the shears dispensed from there. The vines then come through the wall and are accessible down this way. This is the auto AFK fishing hole. Definitely going to have one of these on the next map as well. Very handy. I always keep a chest nearby my AFK places to store all of my stuff in case something causes me to suffocate for some reason. But fishing rods go in there, and then the result of the fishing pops out there. And then if we go down one more level, got a safe drop down here. This is the start of my branch mine. I branched off in a couple of different directions down here. I guess there was a lava pool here, and this is why I decided to start it here. Yeah, and then I branched a few directions here, and then I ended up making some steps down this way and creating a proper branch mine down here, because for some reason I wasn't happy with the results I was getting up here, I guess. I don't know. Ender chest so I can switch out to my efficiency or not my efficiency, my fortune or my silk touch. And then down this way is access to the beacon room, where I've got my full beacon, and I've got pistons set up that if I wanted to turn off one of the beacon effects, I flip the lever. That turns that beacon effect off, which apparently was jump boost. So if I didn't want jump boost for some reason, I could just turn it off there. And then I was doing some speed mining down here just to try it out off camera. And these are the spoils of that. I think I took some stuff upstairs, but that's the sort of minor spoils of the speed mining. So that was an interesting experience. I haven't tried that before. And I think that's about it for the base area. I'm trying to think of there's the ice farm yet, and the barn. So we'll take a look at those, and then we'll swing over to the biomes project real quick, and just walk around each of those. So here's the barn. This is one of the first things that I built out in barn or stables, whatever one. The first thing that I built out in this area. And for the longest time, our nether portal was actually up here in the attic of the barn. And I had like crafting tables and furnaces and stuff set up until I had my actual proper house made. But I went through a whole bunch of trouble to make these fence gates. And I have a button here that, pops the fences open. And then Drew pointed out to me that the horses can just jump over the fences, and that's the easier way to deal with them. So, yeah. Anyway. But this was a lot of fun to build, and at one point it was, I think, on fire from a Caleb prank, but he did manage to fix it up for the most part. Down here is actually a skeleton spawner that I ended up not doing anything with, because I never really needed it. There's the original branch mine access is over that way. Nothing really to look at, though. And then the ice farm is up here. Never got this looking the way that I wanted it to. The idea was to use the snow to make it look kind of like a cloud. So it's going to expand out from here, but I ended up just not finishing the square. And I've got a snowman here for collecting snow. But the idea is you just stand in the pool, and then you hold shift, and there's the whole string and ladders trick to get you up here. And then around this way is the actual ice farm, which is the Seth Bling design that he built. I guess it was last season, Minecraft Season 4. He built a little model of the USS Enterprise and put the ice tray up there. I like this design the most for an ice farm. I just think I don't know, I just like it the most out of the designs that I've seen. I like it better than the ice cube tray and the sort of ice spire thing that Ether recently built in his LP world. But I think I've actually got it turned off because I don't need any more ice at this point. And that's it for the base area. I would be remiss, however, if I didn't spend at least a little bit of time talking about this. It's a bad angle on it. Caleb did this absolutely masterful prank on me. It ended up being the 50th episode, my prank reaction. But he built, after quite a bit of setup and hype with some signs, he ended up building the moon from Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask, attacking my clock tower. He added a clock hand to it. And that was pretty cool. And then the mustache, that's been added by Snowshoe with Drew's supervision, as part of the floating trees prank that they had done on me. But the moon itself was absolutely amazing. And you can actually go inside the moon. You can check out my 50th episode if you want a closer look at that. But that was one of the better pranks that I've ever had pulled on me. Oh, it was the best prank I've ever had pulled on me on a Minecraft server. And that's why it is still there. That's why I left it there. So we've got the biomes project. Here's our desert with the well and the temple or pyramid or whatever, and some cactus that I've got string on top of to keep it from growing any larger than it needs to. Very basic mesa. I did plant a few dead bushes over here. I don't know if I had those in place last time I was over here on camera or not. We got our nether with our lava streams coming down, a little bit of a nether fortress. We have our sticks. We have our savanna. Very nice. Very happy with the result of that as well. And then we have our mushroom island down here with some randomly donated mushrooms. Still don't know who gave these to me. Thanks again, random person. Yeah, a couple of mushrooms that have been generally hanging out here. Occasionally I'll find them out on the path, but for the most part they've been behaving. And then we have an extreme hills biome over there. That's the last one that was done, and it is looking nice. Not gonna go into these. Not gonna go into these lower ones just because I don't want to take the time to go in and backtrack. I got our swamp here with a proper swamp hut and some handcrafted swamp trees. Over there we got a cold taiga biome. Just a bunch of spruce trees and snow placed all over the place. And a general forest. Not a birch forest specifically, but the general just forest biome. And then we've got a plains biome over here with village. So I just copied a couple of village building designs and put them in place over here, as well as the well. And of course, it always looks nicer whenever you build it yourself because it doesn't have all the crazy terrain glitches that the auto-generated ones do. And then the covered forest didn't end up quite correct, I'm sad to say, and there's not really anything I could do about it. But the covered forest should have, or roofed forest I should say, should have some giant mushrooms in it. And I attempted to grow some, but I couldn't quite get to a place where, really I needed to grow those first, and then grow the trees around them. But I already had the trees in place. I didn't feel like cutting them all down, so we didn't end up getting any giant mushrooms grown over here. And because of the way the Silk Touch works with the mushroom blocks, I wouldn't be able to build my own. Got a little ice plains down there with a single tree, as they do. And then finally over here is the jungle and the end. Both of which I'm probably the most proud of the end. Out of all of the biomes that I've constructed down here, I think the end is my favorite. The jungle turned out pretty good as well. It feels like a jungle to me. Probably could use a little bit more ground cover, but I didn't want to get too crazy. But yeah, the end I'm a rather fan of, because when you come in here, you come in on the little obsidian platform that you would spawn in, and then here's like somebody dug up through to get to the surface, and here are all the little mini obsidian towers. And if you look over the edge, you've got the void down there, quote unquote. So yeah, I like the end build, I think, the most. And hey, it gave a reason to actually place endstone, which doesn't normally get a whole lot of love in the game. So you gotta like it for that, I suppose. But yeah, and these domes took forever to build. I mean, actually putting the biomes in place was actually a lot of fun and went fairly quickly once the framework was done. But getting the domes in place and getting the pathways built was a very long and tedious process, because it's a lot of glass and it's a lot of stone, and it's a lot of placing of blocks. But yeah, very happy with it. And I think that's going to about do it, everybody. I know this is going to end up being a little bit long of an episode, and I apologize. Thank you for making it to the end, though. Hope you enjoyed this little tour of the builds here on the VintageBeef Fan Server. next season, what can you expect from me next season, or next series, I should say, because we are renaming the server. You can probably find out the name yourself, but I personally am not going to be revealing it until the next series starts. But for me, next series, okay, well, one thing is we are doing the world border thing. Somewhat similar idea to what Minecraft is doing, but I think we're starting it off smaller and growing it faster to a larger size. But we want to just try to encourage keeping people close together at spawn at 0-0, which we're moving spawn to 0-0. We want to try to encourage keeping them together as much as possible, so we're doing that. And so my focus is going to be to try to collaborate more with the other LPers on the server. I mean, we've got a number of people that record, and a number of people that are, that record regularly. A number of people that would record, intermittently or whatever, just on random occasions. And I want to try to collaborate more with those folks, or just with other people that are interested in doing build projects together on the server, because a lot of what I've done is just stuff that I've done individually, and that was fine for this season because I don't have a single player LP anymore. I'm not interested in maintaining multiple vanilla Minecraft worlds, but next season I want... Oh, hello. You should not be able to spawn there, sir. I've got that very well lit. But next season, I want to concentrate more on collaborative stuff. So I know that Snowshoe and I are planning on working together on the sheep shearing, the new sheep shearing setup that's going to be for the community. And I want to try to get together with some of the other guys, like do some more collaborative stuff with Drew and Nihan. And anybody else that's interested. I enjoyed doing a tour with Fu Mandunian and working with him on stuff. So I'd like to collaborate with him on some builds. And just generally try to interact more with the community. And then the other focus to my season is because of the smaller initial conditions. Oh, I should update these maps before the map resets. I'll do that off camera, though. Because of the smaller initial conditions of the map, I want to actually concentrate on building small, efficient means of getting resources. So like, little auto farms and, little automatic, the potion brewing thing, and, like the cow thing that's over there, and Generic Bee's rabbit breeder would be an example of that. So, yeah, that's I replaced my bed and I never slept in it. But that's the idea, that's the plan, and that's gonna do it for the VintageBeef Fan Server, everybody. Thank you so much for sticking around on this wild and crazy ride. I hope you've enjoyed these 64 episodes. And we will see you on the new server. We are resetting officially on at 6 o'clock. I believe this video is coming out about midday on Saturday, the 20th. And we are resetting at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. So, maybe by the time you've seen this, we've already reset. I may attempt to stream from the new server some Saturday night. I don't make any promises, but go follow me at twitch.tv/Matt, aka / just in case I manage to get the Twitch thing going. You will be notified when I go live. Alright, this episode outro has been going on for like 5 minutes. So, thanks for watching, everybody. Hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you on the new map. Bye-bye.